Hello, passion friends and family. This is Stacy here from Sobromo and Elsa Fitzgerald. And today I am more Elsa Fitzgerald than usual. I am investing back into my design work, and I almost left the house without my vintage gloves, my vintage lace gloves. And I always find that they just remind me to be creative and to be that artist within the work. So I am not following my usual script. I am going to do some fun things while doing work that I would do for Elsa. I am wearing one of my dresses underneath, but some vintage pieces. Today I am going to Shrewsbury Antique Mall. I think last weekend we went and I saw this beautiful antique ironing board that I would love to have for our Fashion Heritage Needle Trades Foundation. So one of my next big steps within the work is to purchase a property that is more in the countryside with a old Victorian mansion and probably like a barn for like sewing activities and workshops. But anyway, come on, join, and then I'll shortly show you my outfit and my beautiful vintage things I bought the last time. I've arrived. Look how much fun this place is. So I saw this one here the last time. It's still here. Still cute. And there's the ironing board I'm interested in. So this is a Hutzler hat that I bought during my last visit to not this antique mall, but the one nearby. And I found this one. It's actually made in England. It's like a Charlie Chaplin bowler hat. So then I stopped by another little antique shop here, got a few dresses and a skirt, the pretty gardens. Finished going to the vintage shops, antique mall, and going to head back into town to go to Madison House to drop off the heritage sewing things that we have. So this is a cute little coffee shop that is inside of a former bank, and I am sitting in the vault. So I thought on my way back from the antique malls to stop by the lavender fields to get some lavender. Isn't it beautiful? They have a little barn shop downstairs, but now they have all the ones drying. Mission accomplished. I have the lavender. Just arrived at the Claire McCardell exhibition here at what was formerly known as the Maryland Historical Society. I would wear this dress right now. I would wear this dress too in the brown. Shirt dress. A really fun-filled fashion day. So went over to Pennsylvania, went to the Antique Mall, went to the Main Street, and then went on to the Lavender Fields, and then to a fashion exhibition now back here at Madison House. And I wanted to share some of the things. This is my featherweight from Sew Bromo, so I brought that over here to actually start sewing with it. Where to begin? Okay, so I started collecting heritage sewing tools for our Fashion Heritage Needle Trades Foundation. Behind me, I'll show you a little later, is actually why I went there, was to collect this heritage ironing board. And then we have this for pressing. And then we have this for checking and adjusting hems. Then we have, this is not functional, or at least we're not going to be using it in its original function, but that's a little iron. And then we have these spools to hold ribbons and trims. And oh yes, I have also some interesting things in here. I have it's actually a vintage picnic shears, but they are absolutely new and in great condition in the original packaging. And then we have, as you probably saw, it's a collector series of paper dolls and motoring ladies fashion. And then came the horseless carriage. While I was at the museum, I picked up the Claire McCardle coloring book, so it has a bit of her story and fashions in there. And then a beautiful illustration. And I'll show you up close images of these. And what else is here? We have my notebook. And I did buy some magnets. That was the same, actually the same company that I'm wearing here, which is Hustlers. So that's that hat. And then I got this beautiful vintage dress with a velvet sash. And you'll be you'll see this in another episode, me wearing it. A black vintage little black dress. Which will be more beautiful when you see it on. And then I have just a few little accessories, a little flower brooch, necklace, and earrings. So I will come around with the camera so you can see those. There they are. I would completely wear this dress. Love this one. Here's the ironing board. Look, it even still has the original label. I have to get a cloth and cushion for it. For our fashion entrepreneurs out there that might be feeling discouraged or feeling like they're losing momentum or not getting momentum. I yesterday found out that we did not get into the Crab Tank as a finalist, although there was 144 businesses that applied, and we made it to the top 10. We did not make it to the top 5, which I was feeling rather discouraged by, because we've done such intentional work, and a lot of it, not a lot of it, like all of it, bootstrapping it, and really it's very community focused. And I know there's a lot of really great business owners that are part of that competition, so I'm really excited for them, but still there was something in me that just felt disappointed. So then I traced back to Johns Hopkins Social Innovation Lab. Although we were in the program, we spent 6 months in that, and we did not get awarded the top prize, which is okay. But of course, you're going into this to create impact, but to be able to potentially win. And then prior to that, the last competition I was a part of was OpenWorks. And although one of our students had won and placed from SoBromo, our actual school didn't get placed. So I really felt in a weird place, because I had put my own brand on hold to help build this program and expand the needle trades. But what I was finding is I'm getting rather disillusioned by the factory world, and that I love the old world of the heritage machines and heritage fashion, vintage fashion, and this type of dresses that actually wouldn't be worth anyone's time to create in terms of the money exchange, because I spend so many hours making these dresses, and the vintage fashion that I fell in love with, like this Hutzler's hat. If someone actually had to learn to do that and make that and cut and sew it and mold it, maybe the retail price for that would be around $300, $500. It really depends. But I really want to carry on these heritage techniques and these methods, and I feel that in this moment, and the recommendation to our entrepreneurs is find the you in it. Find the you that's authentically you, and don't compromise. Stick the course, stick the track, stick to the path, and allow it to evolve. So we're at the place now. I am going to be handwriting the letters to our invitation to our advisory board, and I really want to bring a new life to what was originally known as Elsa Fitzgerald, but Maison Elsa Fitzgerald, under the Fashion Heritage and Needle Trades Foundation, through what I'm going to call Maison Elsa Fitzgerald, is the extension of our original work, known as the Fashion Heritage Needle Trades Foundation. I want to give another life to these techniques. I want to be able to archive them in video form and share them to the world. I would love to continue to show and share these garments and these accessories and fashion that will never be made this way again. And I would love to kind of go around the world and document those stories and some of those trainings so that they can be passed on, not necessarily for commercial use, but for engagement and expression and artistic access to a sewing world, which is going to fade in a very quick time. Like, I think we have about 10 years before these masters in these techniques leave us and leave this earth, and we just can't wait. Something to note, when I first came back to Baltimore, I was volunteering for the Maryland Historical Society. So that was that museum that I recently visited, renamed the Maryland Center for History and Culture. And they had this beautiful archive of fashion garments, everything from Charles Frederick Worth things to Clement Cardle, and even more. And what's happened is that they still, most of the majority of the collection, I think is still above 16,000 pieces, are left in this historic house and unseen, unarchived, truly, like in terms of conservation standards. And it makes me sad, because that's the last place we are going to see these sort of garments that are made at this level. But I do sort of question if the speed of design and development and the efficiency of cut and sew in the US moves towards those wearable technologies, smart garments, we lose the slow side. We lose the intentional creation of beautiful things. And yes, it took time for fashion to be considered an art form, but if we wait too long, or we don't create garments that are of that aesthetic, of that look, of that quality, because we're trying to make things cheaper and faster, then what happens to fashion? What happens to those images we're going to see in history books? Fashion, culture, and technical skills are not necessarily needed just for the mass production of goods. There is a value add for someone who loves and enjoys to create for themselves. So I look forward to beginning my own intentional fashion journey, where I'm making some garments for collection and for the market. I would love that here at Madison House, through Maison Elsa Fitzgerald, the Fashion Heritage Needle Trades Foundation, that we can enjoy creating and share content that we are cutting and sewing and making.